Okay, bonjour. So this grammar lesson is going to be pretty simple. We're going to talk about one word, and that word is y. Right here, the letter Y. In French, it is a word and it means a lot of things. It can mean a lot of things, but I'm going to give you three translations. D'accord? So y means roughly there, as well as here. And you already know words for there and here. You can say, for example, la to say there, and that works the same way as the English word there. You would put it in roughly the same part of a sentence, as well as the word ici, meaning here. You have that word as well. What's weird is that French has this third word that can mean both here and there. D'accord? I'm not going to go deep into why it exists, but it's a pronoun. It refers to a place that's been previously mentioned. So it can also mean at that place. Whatever place we just talked about, it means at that place we were just talking about. D'accord? So on a quiz, I'm not going to ask you what E means, except for maybe a bonus, and I would expect to see it means there, here, and at that place. D'accord? So, what you will be quizzed on is where it goes in the sentence. So we're going to look at three different sentence structures that you know. We're first going to look at simple sentences, and that's when you have one conjugated verb. D'accord? So an example of this is actually a phrase you know already, on y va. D'accord? On y va literally translates to one there goes. D'accord? Or one goes there. And that's how you say let's go. On y va, one there goes. D'accord? Notice that it goes in front of the conjugated verb. There's only one verb, so it goes in front of that one verb. D'accord? The E is where you're going. D'accord? So let's look at some examples here. Repeat after me at home for some pronunciation practice. D'accord? So the first example here. If someone asked you, tu vas à la fête, n'est-ce pas? You're going to the party, isn't that right? You could say in response, oui, je vais à la fête. I'm going to the party. Or you can say more simply, oui, j'y vais. I there am going. And it could be translated as I'm going to it, right? Because it's to a party. But yeah, at that place, to that place. C'est bon? So the second example, again, repeat after me for some pronunciation practice. If someone said to you, this should be vous partez, the notes are wrong. Vous partez vers le sud. D'accord? You're leaving towards the south. You can say, non, je ne pars pas vers le sud. No, I'm not headed towards the south. Or you could say more simply, non, je n'y pars pas. D'accord? So again, where does the E go in the sentence? That's what you'll be quizzed on. It goes before the conjugated verb. If you have a simple sentence, just one verb. Well, so that's the important thing to know. Notice that you have an example here, oui, j'y vais, that's positive, and one that has the negative so that you can look at where ne pas goes. D'accord? This E will go after the ne, but pas will still go after the verb. Okay. We're going to look at what happens if you have a sentence with a modal verb. That means you have a conjugated verb and an infinitive that follows. So again, practice your pronunciation. If someone says to you, tu vas aller à la fête, non, you're going to go to the party this time. Instead of you're going to the party, you can say, si, je vais aller à la fête. Yes, I'm going to go to the party. Or you can say, si, je vais y aller. I am going there to go, which is, again, bizarre for us, but that's how it goes. And notice where you put the E. We'll fill that part out in just a second. Second example, if you hear, puis-je rester ici chez moi? Can I stay here at my house? D'accord? I could say to you, non, tu ne peux pas y rester. No, you can't stay. No, you can't here stay. D'accord? Or you can't at home stay, basically. And notice where the E goes. And yeah, you could just as well say, tu ne peux pas rester ici. but E can stand in for EC, it can stand in for la, it can stand in for chez moi, etc. So, where does it go when you have two verbs, one conjugated and one infinitive? Well, notice it goes before the infinitive verb this time. Cool. So remember we talked about that earlier in the year. If there's an infinitive, like with me, te, le, la, nous, vous, and les, that those go in front of the conjugated verb. If it's one verb, it goes in front of the infinitive if there's an infinitive. So it's basically the same rules that you learned. It is the same rules that you learned. All right, going on to the third type of sentence, and that's one that's composed. The passé composé, right? The past tense. When you have the past tense, you've got a verb tense that's composed of your auxiliary verb, or remember AV baby, or helping verb, and then of your past participle, your PP baby. D'accord? So let's look at where the E goes in this case. So if I ask you this time, did you go to the party? Tu es allé à la fête? You can say, oui, je suis allé à la fête. Sure, why not? Or you can say, oui, j'y suis allé. D'accord? And try that. Really make sure you say that out loud a few times because it feels weird at first. You're so used to saying je. But yes, you can say, j'y suis allé. I there am gone. And go to say, I went there. Okay, second example. Elle est tombée dans la rue. Did she fall in the road? If you want to say, again, in the negative, no, she didn't fall in it, or no, she didn't fall there, you can say, non, elle n'est pas tombée dans la rue, or you can say, and putting the E in there, try it, non, elle n'y est pas tombée. D'accord? Remember that the PP baby is dirty liar. It's not a verb. It just pretends it's a verb. So don't give it anything. You give your AV baby all the love. You give it the ne pas blanket, and you put the E next to it. And so the past participle should have nothing after it. You just drop it at the end. D'accord? Non, elle n'y est pas. No, she isn't. And then fallen. Well, she isn't there. And then the word fallen. D'accord? So the past tense is a little tricky because it goes before, still goes before the conjugated verb, right? Because the past participle is not a verb, but it goes before the auxiliary verb. So those are the three rules that you have to memorize. E goes before the conjugated verb, it goes before the infinitive verb, and it goes before the auxiliary verb in those three different types of sentences. Okay? And you learned this already once this year, so it's pretty easy. So let's do some of the practice together on the back. The first four are all present simple sentences. The second four all have a modal verb. And then the last four are all past tense. So we'll do one of each. So in the first one, notice you have three elements. You have il, son, and I. And you have to choose the correct word order here. So you're given some context. The question is asked, the children are at school, no? Les enfants sont à l'école, non? We want to say this sentence over here on the right, yes, they are there. So you might be tempted to say ils sont, and then the word for there, you can say ils sont là, but with I, remember that the word order is going to be different. Si, ils y sont, and you can say that. D'accord? Okay, so that's an example for the present. Let's look at a modal verb. So the next one we have aller, on, peut, and I that we have to déchiffre, put back in order. So you've got peut-on aller au parc? Can we go to the park? And we want to say, yeah, we can go to it, or we can go there. So strategy that I would use for this one is write E last. So I'm going to put on, and that one's obvious because it's my sentence starter. Subjects are sentence starters. Put that first. Go. And then I'm going to put the conjugated verb. Notice I'm leaving a little bit of space so that I can figure out where to put the Y. And then I'm going to put aller with a little bit of space. And then figure out where E goes. Does it go in front of the conjugated verb? No, not when there's an infinitive. So you're going to say on peut y aller. D'accord? All right, last one. We'll do it real quick. You've got aller as a past participle. Nous is a subject, so you could even go ahead and put that first. Some is your verb, and I. So Êtes-vous allé à la montagne? Have you gone to the mountains? Yes, we went to them. So I would, again, put your E in last. Nous sommes allés, we went. And then where does your E go in the past tense? It's going to go in front of your auxiliary verb. D'accord, right? Past participle gets no love. No love for the pee-pee baby. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Reach out by email, and the practice, I will put up a Google form for you. D'accord? Okay, au revoir.